Okay, this is my first, well, second non-NBA stream for anybody that was expecting that. Other than you, my friend, who I already told I was going to do this stream before it even started. Cabby actually says DLC 18 is trash. And I actually disagree with him on not a lot, I want to say a lot of things, but quite a bit when it comes to this game. I'm dead. Hey, look, my boy, you got a fan. I'm just playing, but yeah. So he made a video, and I was gonna watch it, but I decided he tends to make me like really think a lot, or I guess express an opinion. I was in a comment under it, but I was like, you know what, it'd be more fun if I just expressed it in the stream. So I'm just gonna do what I like to do, play the person's video and just review what I think. Now, I'm making this because I want to give one of my first actual public takes on this game, and it'll be easier to do that with someone else expressing whatever their opinion is about it. So I feel like I'm heading into this with the expectation that I do agree with him, but it's probably going to be for different reasons. So let's see how this goes. Oh shit. Let me restart it. So, all right, here we go.
Let's be honest, my boys. DLC 18 overall, from a full perspective, it just was pretty trash. Like, when you really think about this DLC as a whole, not separate the free and paid update from each other, just combine them and really think about what this DLC offered. It was really just the paid side that we got content from. The free update really has not offered much of anything except from some loading screens and what new custom clothings in the TP Metal Shop. Outside of that, there really is nothing to offer from the free update of DLC 18. And it plays a huge role, I feel, in why this DLC was so underwhelming. Like, DLCs, yes, the paid side is very important. But the free side, you can argue, is even more important in DLCs on Xenoverse 2, because if you really think back to some of the most successful DLC packs, they always had good free updates.
That's actually really true. I do agree with that. This honestly was the most lackluster fucking free updates we had. I think maybe even ever, or at least since the game started in Xenoverse. And I think it's because, especially with this new director or whoever took over for Xenoverse 2, content now, I think it's because of the fact that they realize that a lot of other companies are gravitating to this pay-for-play shit. So this was their way of low-key just trying to fucking cash bait the fuck out of us. They know people like me will want the shit that they're giving in this DLC. So to entice us even more, they gave less. That, and because of the universal reason that I will never stop saying they are, is that reason is that they're fucking lazy. I remember being under one of Cabby's comment section, and I got the typical response that I expected, which, funny enough, other people were criticizing Dragon Ball fans for, which was the whole we got the Sandland bullshit. I was really disappointed because I did not want that shit, like, at fucking all. I thought it was a waste. We could have gotten something way fucking cooler, in my opinion. I forgot what it was that I wanted. If it doesn't come back to me this stream, I'll probably mention it in a future video or stream. But I wanted something else, and it was just really lackluster. And I get it, at the time Toriyama, passed away, and people wanted to honor him. But it was like, honestly, some of the things they put in these free updates anyway, I have said for years about so many different fucking things. It should have been just, something we could have wished off of from the Dragon Balls. I think, honestly, they could make more content out of that. So, I agree with that.
Came alongside with them because these free updates bring people back into the game, and then they see these DLCs and they want to actually play with these characters, so they'll actually buy the pack, get the character skills, all things along that go with it. The free update is a major role in that, and it really shows in this DLC right here, because when you look at numbers in terms of this DLC, in terms of the player base and all things like that, the numbers, there was nothing that even showed a DLC drop on Xenoverse 2. If you look back at the last, from August all the way to now on the Steam charts, there's no like significant jump. To be honest, you might have thought that the DLC dropped in September due to the fact that the September player base, the average was all the way up to 1354 and the peak was at 2416. But obviously that is not the case. This DLC did not come out until November. And when you look at November's numbers, November, we had an average player base of 908, which is not good, and a peak player of 1,593. That is very low when you compare it to the last DLC on this game, which was March of 2020.
I'm going to purposely do this because in hindsight, I think this proved my point about another topic I just finished getting over, and I'm going to fucking go there. I don't care what nobody fucking says. Other than what he just said, that because he believes that because the free update was lacking, it attracted less players. That could be the case, but there's one thing we're ignoring. And there's something that happened that might have caused the player drop from this Steam analytics shit that he's mentioning here. It's called Sparking Zero. Remember that game? The same game that I had to prove that people were playing more than Xenoverse? Yeah. Which, by the way, this is the same game that I never said that people, were not still playing. I never, made a certain claim that a certain somebody said that I did. If this doesn't prove my point, I don't know what does anymore. The fact that he laid that out just proves that. I just want to throw that out there. But also not just to tag on that old bullshit, but just to also just say that I don't think it's just because of the free updates, because let's be honest, the free updates, as cool as they can be, they have a shorter lifespan than the DLCs themselves anyway. So it would have died out quick no matter what. I don't think this really matters. I mean, especially if with how lackluster this one was. I mean, what did you expect, really? I don't know what he was expecting with that. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do with a stupid ass fucking little demon boy's clothes with fucking who runs around in a desert eating shit from the fucking floor all the time? He doesn't really do that, but I'm just making fun of it because I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about Sandland, and I think a lot of other, some of Toriyama's other work was people were only cocksucking it because of the fact that it's Toriyama. But I'm sorry, I didn't give a shit about that fucking game, that fucking series, that fucking character. I didn't give a shit about any of it. It was wasted content to me. We could have gotten that some other fucking time. I feel the same way about fucking Daima Goku. He should have been a free character. As cool as he kind of is, we're talking about trash. To me, he was trash. Sorry, Daima Goku was trash. We should have just been able to wish him for the Dragon Balls and have somebody else put in place, which, in my opinion, should have been Bergamo. But I can go on for days about what the fuck this game should have done on stuff.
The average player base went up to 1,861, and the peak player was at 3,726. That right there alone should show you the difference from one DLC to the next and how well the community actually received said DLC. But on top of that, honestly, since this DLC came out, the rank scene and the online PvP scene really in general, when it comes to PlayStation, has like finally died. Like that is one thing I could always rely on with Xenoverse 2. I would always be able to hop on PlayStation and find some matches without, fairly long wait times or anything like that. Yes, I know Xbox has been experiencing long wait times for years now at this point. Same with PC. But at PlayStation, I was always able to hop on and get some matches in if I ever wanted to play PvP on Xenoverse 2. That's not really the case now. Now,
that's because of Sparking Zero. I don't think Cabby's really taking into account. Hasn't anybody noticed that ever since that game dropped, the activity for the online PvP has went down? I'm saying this as somebody who's played the game as long as Cabby has. I played this game since it came out. I didn't even have a fucking console yet. I had to ask my brother if he could let me play on his shit for at least an hour or two. And I was playing online in his account, so I have from the experience from when the game basically fucking dropped all the way till now. And I can tell you, the reason why it was more players a year ago compared to now is because Xenoverse 2, like most of its lifespan, was all we had left of a Dragon Ball game that people could really enjoy and play online. Everything else, like Raging Blast and Tenkaichi 3 before Sparking Zero, those died out even before that. Even before Xenoverse 2 fucking came out. No one was playing them. Not really. So, I mean, it's no surprise to me that the last DLC before this one, which was almost a year apart, it was a couple months before that. Is it really surprising? I mean, that's the other thing. This DLC dropped like within a few weeks after Sparking Zero did, almost a month. And if we're being realistic here, as he says in the title of his video, let's be honest. We all know that, and I said this in September before we even got the trailer for DLC 18. I said this to a friend of mine. We both knew anyway, and he plays the game less than I do. We both were like, people are just gonna ride the wave. Oh my god, the new Xenoverse 2 DLC, blah blah, for like a week or two, and then they're just gonna jump their asses right back to Sparking Zero. And that's pretty much what happened. Now, people have been bitching about Sparking Zero and blah blah blah. That doesn't really seem to matter because I'm still seeing a lot of people play that game. But it's because of Sparking Zero. That's really what it is here. Or I guess to be neutral or fair, to me, from where I'm sitting and from someone who's played this game, that's what I've noticed since that game's dropped. Because when I tried to find PvP, especially the week when Sparking Zero dropped, woo! I was having quite a bit of trouble trying to find players to go against. And it was pretty fucking obvious why. So I don't understand this little mystery here that's going on with what he's saying, but I expected this from him because he kind of does this all the time. So, like what could be a blatantly obvious reason, for some reason doesn't dawn on Cabby, which is honestly kind of why I don't really watch his content as much, because it's kind of like, it's gotten to a point where I've seen people criticize it, where they'll be like, dude, like, come on, really, like, this, like, and it's like, yeah, like, come on, man, like, we know why.
You don't find matches for like 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, if not longer, if you're willing to sit in the lobby for that long and just waste your time waiting for one person to actually join.
How about an hour minimum? That's how long I've had to wait plenty of times. That's why I'm not on Xenoverse 2 as much as I used to. Because what he's talking about happens to me. Except I'm not waiting 7-10 minutes. I'm waiting 30 minutes plus. I'll be lucky if it's 20. So, yeah.
Is the issues that I've been finding with Xenoverse 2 since this DLC actually came out. And I feel like this DLC was almost like a straw that broke a lot of people's backs when it comes to Xenoverse 2, because this is a DLC that we did have to wait a very long time, all the way from March of 2024 till November of 2024. That's like 6-7 months.
Yes, hence me saying that the DLC before this one was practically a year ago, which Sparking Zero, I don't even think we knew Sparking Zero was coming out just yet when DLC 17 was coming out. So all the more all the more merit for me, to prove my point about the analytics shit of how many players are playing from now compared to back then. As far as what he's saying now, what he said, let me replay that.
Because this is a DLC that we did have to wait a very long time, all the way from March.
That's the other thing. That's the part I wanted to replay. That's what I think lately they have been fucking up with this game. You fucking milk the shit out of us. And yes, we get hype for some of the characters we get, only to find out that you stoked so much hype into just one or two characters that by the time you finally get a release date and we find out what we're getting, they make it look like it's a lot, but it's not really a lot. And I'm kind of tired of that. I'm kind of tired of that when it comes to this game. And as cool as the Ultra Super Villain stuff is, I do like Ultra Super Villain Jiren. He is super fucking fun to play with. Belmid, a refresher because he was the only new character in this whole thing. I don't count Daima Goku, that's bullshit. The only actual new character that I must have waited amongst so many other characters. I must have waited like 6, 7 long years for. At least somebody from that side of Dragon Ball Super that Xenoverse 2 for whatever reason abstains from. Don't get it. But I just really wish, I really hate this laziness. It goes back to it's the laziness. That we, they'd rather give us a fucking reskins. They take 6 to 7 months at a time now for fucking reskins. If you ask me, niggas like fucking Super Saiyan God Vegeta, Goku Black, and Jiren, all reskins should take about 3 to 4 months. Tops. I shouldn't be waiting 6 to 7, almost a whole fucking year for a DLC that's only gonna take me about a week to beat. That's bullshit. Okay, that's just fucking bullshit. So, I'm just frustrated with this game for so many different reasons. That just being one of them. It is the fucking laziness, and it is spiraled. It has spiraled out of control. I need new content. I mean, new content. I do like the new combo strings when they do give us reskins, but I want new characters, or at least new characters in terms of characters we haven't gotten yet. And just a sidetrack, just a second here. They have gotten so innovative with the characters, skill sets and their combo strings. I have been wanting this since like year 2 or 3 of this game. Let us make our own combo strings for our characters. I mean, you've been taking our money twice a year for like 8 years straight. You should have, with over 6 million copies now, you should have way more than enough money to allow us to do that. If you're not going to give us Xenoverse 3, I would like a supreme update to where you put that in the game, because I'm tired of these same trash-ass fucking backhand-ass, whack-ass combo, and then when I do the full square, they fly and they do multiple punches in your face that doesn't even connect, by the way, because when I'm online and I do that to somebody, they literally fall out of the combo within like the first 2 punches, and I'm just punching the air. Like, that shit is whack, bro. It's 2025. Like, come on, guys. Let's see what he says here.
2024 till November of 2024. That's like 6, 7 months that we had to wait for this DLC, and then this DLC drops, and it's just not that great. Like, again, the paid side was okay. The characters were fine. Some crazy skills coming from Daima Goku. If you know, you know. But overall, nothing that is, insanely special about the paid side of the DLC either. It's just a, overall solid pack, solid characters, solid skills. Nothing insane though, right? So that means the free side would have to be good to make up for that, and it just was not. The free side in general, to me, has to be good for a DLC to truly be successful on Xenoverse 2. But when a paid side is just lacking a little bit and doesn't have anything that is crazy hyped out or anything along those lines, The free update really needs to make up for it and really needs to add things that gets people excited for said pack, and that just was not the case this time around. I mean,
I agree. If you're gonna make us pay this money, if you're gonna make us wait this fucking long now, because this started with the fucking Gohan Beast Orange Piccolo DLC bullshit for whatever fucking reason it took so long for. If you're gonna do that, I want it to be because of a lot of shit, not because of whatever lazy fucking reason it is. So I agree with that.
Again, was pretty much non-existent on Xenoverse 2 with this DLC right here. So overall, man, I just really, wanted to make a video talking about how lackluster, how disappointing DLC 18 as a whole was, because again, it shows in the numbers, it shows in how long it takes to get matches after this DLC actually came out. Usually with a DLC, it makes it easier, a couple of weeks after the DLC drops, it makes it easier to find matches because more people are back on the game, more people are playing the game. I feel like I've had a harder time finding matches since this DLC came out, and let me know if you feel the same, because before the DLC I could still again hop on the game and I would be able—
No, you're not kidding, man, but that goes to what I said earlier in this impromptu stream. It's because the Sparking Zero's out now. That's a discrepancy that it seems like nobody wants to acknowledge. That, and to couple with what he's saying, the little that it matters, the DLCs, their lifespan isn't as long as it used to be. So when you combine those two things, why would we expect anyone to be on the game in the first place? Like, not everybody's like Cabby and myself, where we can play this game for hours on end and not get bored. Not every person who likes Dragon Ball is like that. And my friend is like that. I have a friend of mine who I often mention as an example. He gets something out of Sparking Zero that he doesn't get out of this game, and just that alone, he plays Sparking Zero more than I've ever seen him play this game, willingly speaking. The only time he's really played was when there was something he wanted, and that was it. And I'm pretty sure he's not the only one that plays this game like that. That's another factor I think people are overlooking when it comes to this game or Dragon Ball games in general. Everybody, like, it's the same reason why Fighters was so popular for a while. It was a different experience, and it was an experience that others preferred over this. And I think it's the same for Sparking Zero. It just offers an experience that this game doesn't have, and it sure does, like blast beam wave struggles, I don't know, tapping the button when you fast fight, something people used to want in this game for a long time. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I remember being one of those amongst thousands of fans who wanted the fast fighting function to be a thing in here, not just watch it on a Clash, not that bullshit. Like, we actually want to tap the button competing with someone, that, and just a plethora of other things I can get into that I don't think I have to. Just go look at the game yourself.
And online matches without much of a problem. Since this DLC has come out, every time I hop on and try to play Xenoverse 2 when it comes to a PvP type of match, I'm literally sitting here waiting in the lobby for multiple minutes, 4, 5, 6 minutes. Sometimes I can't even find a match. Like, I've had times where I'm in the lobby sitting there for 10 minutes and I don't find a match, and I just give up because obviously nobody else is playing the game in terms of a PvP type of situation. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Have you seen, less activity when it comes to the player base, if you are someone who plays PvP, things like that, since the DLC came out? And also, what are your thoughts on the DLC overall? Because like I said, to me, I think as a whole, this DLC was pretty trash. The paid update was okay, but the free update was so bad that, there's just no saving that with how bad it was, especially since, again, this DLC did not offer anything in terms of a character that got people extremely, extremely hyped. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Till next time, boys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy.
I guess the last point would be that other than the diversion that Sparking Zero and just the lack of flair that this DLC has, to offer people, to engage people's interests. I think what really disengaged people is that although we all know there's lag and netcode in this game, I've noticed one problem when I go online, and I don't even think he's realized this in the middle of saying it. Whatever they did to try to fix the netcode, especially the last time, with the last update that pertained to fixing the online experience, whatever they did, they fucked it up because I noticed that there will be players on and I'll still have trouble finding players, and that shouldn't be possible. So I think whatever it is that they're doing over there, they fucked it up to where now it can't detect other players, to go against each other as well as it used to. And that's so ironic considering the netcode was worse at times than it is now, and it can find players faster than this garbage. So I will never understand this game's problem with online. I think ultimately, I think ultimately that's what's killing the game a little bit. People have complained about it for years. Yes, everyone's, everyone's either sucked up the bullshit and played online, or they just didn't play the game. But it's to the point where even people like us, as you just heard both of us express, because I've done the same thing that he just said, where we'll just be waiting and just fucking give up, because who the fuck wants to wait more than 10 minutes to fight one fucking person? I was lucky to even get into those few online battles I did the past 2 months that I did those streams on. I was lucky to do that. Really lucky. But that's pretty much really all I have to say for this. I think the biggest problem in general, the game and the DLC aside, is that anybody who's a fan of Dragon Ball or used to be a fan of Dragon Ball to any extent or to any degree, every time I hear them speak about it on certain things, they always seem to overlook huge things that affected the game in the first place. I don't know how they miss it. Like, I don't know how he didn't put together that it could have been because of Sparking Zero. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how I'm the only one. I don't know why I'm the only one that's saying it. It's ridiculous, but it seems to me that, personally speaking, I'm the only one that really seems to notice these kinds of certain things anyway. But that's pretty much all I have. I might do more videos or live streams reviewing his videos. I kind of wish I kind of did this sooner, because there was definitely some stuff he would say that I just either really disagreed with, or just, like, right now, I just don't understand why he didn't catch it. Like, that one time he responded to me because he, for some reason, seemed to have this preconceived notion that, everything was gonna be like Xenoverse, to where Sparking Zero was possibly gonna have, CAC because they did it in Ultimate Tenkaichi like fucking over 10 years ago. And to me, it was stupid because it was a reach, for one, and two, they were telling us so much about Sparking Zero, and what made that stupid was because, like, he thought he told me, like, he didn't understand or see why it was dumb. He didn't see why it was dumb, like, it's not dumb or whatever the fuck. I was like, the reason why it's dumb is because this was when they dropped the full description of the game on PlayStation or whatever console you're playing, where it described everything that the game had, like, from the game functions, the balancing between the characters when they go against each other, about who was more powerful than what. Like, they went into full fucking detail about what had in the game. And this guy was speculating whether it was gonna, be a CSE or not. So my logic was, I'm like, don't you think they would have put that in the description of the game in the first place? Like, that doesn't make sense. They give a full description of the game. We finally find out what's going to be in the game. They don't tell you that there's going to be any kind of created character, activity in it, and yet you still have this notion or belief that there could be because they did it over 10 years ago. Really stupid. Really, 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 really stupid to me. I'll admit, I'm probably overstating it. I'm pretty sure I am. But it just boggles me that much because Dragon Ball fans do that all of the time. They do it all the time, and with many of the times that they have done that, and the amount of times they have been wrong, in my eyes, you would think they would finally catch on to the pattern of when they would do something or not on certain things, and the fact that that hasn't really seemed to have changed baffles me. So that's all I got for you guys, or guy, person. Peace out.